I don't have an agent, so I have to be my own accountability partner. You don't ever actually get to hear our writing, and I think it's because we're all so afraid of like, this is why it takes me so freaking long to draft a book, because I sit here and I nitpick. May the 4th be with me. I'm gonna need it. Good morning, friends. Welcome back to another writing vlog. I look a little crazy and bald. I have a hair mask in. It's hair wash day, so you're just gonna have to deal with that. Boyfriend has left for work. We went and grabbed some coffee. The last writing vlog you would have seen, I actually created this wonderful book mood board just to try to get myself excited whenever I walk by my desk, which has currently been commandeered by the cat, just to get myself excited for actually finishing this book. I think I'm about halfway through, 78,000, 80,000 words, something like that. And what I have to do today is fix a mistake that I made, which is what happens when you re-outline your entire book. And as you can kind of see from this mess here on the side, somewhere, somehow, between chapters 18 and 19, I had written a scene that I forgot about, and so I ended up with a chapter, like chapter 19 was like 7,000 words, which is insane. I don't write chapters that long. I write chapters, oh, that's gonna bug me. I write chapters that are like 3,000 to 5,000 words, right? I don't write super crazy long chapters, partly because I enjoy shorter chapters, right? It helps the pacing. What I need to do, I think, is cut 19 in half. Find a place where I can split it, essentially, where it makes sense to split it, because it has quite a few scenes in it. So there are already scene breaks in the chapter. So I need to turn a scene break into a chapter break, essentially. Current chapter 19 will become chapter 19 and 20. And then the current chapter 20 will become 21. I hope that makes sense. That is the lovely task that I have today. Another thing that I want to show you that I've kind of decided on is I need to impose some sort of deadline. I don't have an agent. There's nobody who's like hounding me to finish anything. You know what I mean? So I have to be my own accountability partner. I mean, my boyfriend will ask me, sometimes my parents will ask me like, what are you working on? You know, what's it about? How's it going? But that's not the same thing as like having a legitimate deadline. So this is how I have chosen how to create a deadline that's actually feasible. I hate doing that over a hair mask. How I've done that is, I have my word count tracker up on the wall, which I'll show you. I just made it on Canva. I'll show you a cutaway so that you can actually see it. But the whole last week of February was kind of a bust. The week got away from me. I have the time, and I just still, it's like a self-sabotage thing. I don't know what it is, but I didn't write at all for the last week of February. So I want to make sure that I get some numbers up there. Anyway, originally there was going to be a Readsy course for novel revision in April. On like April 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6th, on April 6th, it got pushed back a month. I've taken some of their courses. Their novel writing course was amazing. That course, the novel revision course, got pushed from April 6th now to May 4th. So originally I was gonna say, okay, April 6th can be like a rough deadline. That way I can go into that course with some kind of, like with a finished draft, like that makes sense. But they pushed it. So now I have March and April. So now I have no excuse. I know I can finish it by May 4th. Even if it's, you know, even if I have to rush the ending, even if it's not the quality of prose that I would want, it's still just draft one, you know? May the 4th be with me. I'm gonna need it. So May 4th is the new official deadline, which is very exciting. I should have prefaced this by saying I'm writing an adult fantasy, and I think that's all I wanted to update you on. Yeah, now I'm gonna sit out in the sun for the tiny little bit of remaining sunlight we have left for the day and try to get some writing done. So, update. It's hours later, as you can probably tell from the lighting. I finished doing the thing that I mentioned earlier that I was gonna do. Basically splitting up chapter 19 into multiple chapters. And then I had some random like little scenes that were unfinished that I had kind of left. I had just kind of like left them like added ellipses, and I like did not finish them. So that's what I was doing when I was outside earlier. So instead of having a 7,000 word chapter, I now have like a, I don't know, it's not like an even split of like 3,500 each, but it's like there's one that's a little bit longer, one that's a little bit shorter. Anyway, so this thing that I was showing you earlier where I forgot that I had written this whole scene, it had to stay in. It was important. There's some really important dialogue. Basically, we have this event that happens in, I don't even know what chapter, but it's a very important event where thing in this fantasy world where the students and the professors can actually swap places. You can become a professor if you're just basically really good at what you do, if you're really good at your particular ability. There's been a character in a coma because sometimes this challenge, you don't always make it out alive. It can be too difficult for some people. You can end up in a coma. There have been people pass away. There have been people, not make it back to their bodies if there was something that they were doing kind of like metaphysical with their consciousness. That's what I'm dealing with. So it was an important scene because it's a scene between the main character and the person who is essentially comatose. Now I am ready to officially enter into winter, which is very exciting. I want this book to take place over the course of a school year. Just like with, the Harry Potter books, it starts at the beginning of the term, like fall, like late summer, early fall. Follow Harry throughout the fall, and then we see the weather change and it's the winter, and then we see the weather change again and it's spring. That school year is over and it comes to an end. And so I like that timeline a lot. So I got to the point where we are officially in winter. So what I want to do, this next little bit that I'm going to write before I call it a night on the writing, I actually need to really get on the treadmill because I haven't done any physical activity today. I need to write literally a paragraph that is showing the transition from fall to winter. So I actually, in a writing vlog, like months ago, I read aloud my fall description. Like I read you the prose, which I feel like is so rare, like to see in writing vlogs. I feel like we as like writer tubers, author tubers, a lot of times we just talk about the thing that we're writing, but like it ends up giving you guys like actually very little context. You don't ever actually get to hear our writing, and I think it's because we're all so afraid of like somebody plagiarizing or somebody stealing something, and now I need to write the winter one. So, and I have a good idea of what I want it to say and how I want it to feel. I have some words. I literally Googled like words that are about winter or like words relating to winter, and apricity came up, which I've heard before. It basically means like the warmth of the sun in wintertime. So like kind of like a cold sun, like it's cold outside, but you feel the warmth of the sun on your skin. A new word to me is subnivean, and that means, it's an adjective that means something is situated or occurs under the snow. So I want to describe maybe like the activities like in the forest that are happening, and I hate it when you're just staring at the screen. I've officially decided I think I need to get up and move my body because the words are not coming. So let's go walk on the treadmill for a little bit, maybe walk 5K and start this book. Okay guys, it is much later. It is about time for bed actually. I walked my 5K and read like 30 pages of the Atlas Complex. And I'm not done with my paragraph by any means, but I thought I would give you, let's see, 1, 2. 2 whole sentences, but they're kind of long and they're descriptive, and so I thought I would read them and then maybe we could finish that 3rd sentence together. What I have so far, this would be the beginning of chapter 22, right after you would like turn the page and it would be like part 3, winter, and then you would turn the page again and it would be chapter 22. This is the like paragraph that you would get. Snow hung like heavy draping from every bough residing in the forest. A spray of hoarfrost on every visible surface, ice encasing every branch and leaf as if freezing them in time. Subnivean creatures bobbed their velvet heads in and out of burrows, ears like antennae flicking in sync with the call of crows overhead that pierced the hushed silence, ever mindful of the endless wheel of predators. Couple of things, I don't know, I used the word every 3 times in that first sentence, and typically when I read a book and they use the same word several times in a row, it kind of shouts up from the page. So I don't know if I love that or if it can be like purposefully repetitious, because that's also like a thing. So I'm going to leave it for now. And then I was able to use the word subnivean, which is fun. I also have droopy-headed snowdrops. That's kind of a fun couple of words. Snowdrops are a type of flower that if you plant them in the fall, they'll bloom in like early spring when there's still snow on the ground. And then I really want to do, you guys remember the game Candyland? I really want to do something where our main character is walking through the forest, because that's going to be maybe like the last sentence to then like kind of segue into like our characters and our action and what we're doing. I want her to say something about how she feels like a small figurine in like a children's fantasy game, and it will be a very subtle reference to Candyland, where the snow was actually buttercream frosting, perennial flowers barely hanging on like dewdrops, something. Dewdrops, and then I need a verb. Anyway, and so it would feel like, because I feel like sometimes in the winter it's like you're in this like fantasy realm, or like you're in like a board game. Like I want to give it almost like a very subtle Alice in Wonderland, you know, like shrinking down, you're inside a board game kind of magical feel. This book has some pretty heavy themes in it, so if there's anything at all that I can add in to bring in some levity, I think it would be a good idea. So I didn't quite finish my paragraph, but that is okay. This is why it takes me so freaking long to draft a book, because I sit here and I nitpick. That's why it's going to take me like a year to finish this book. It's not going to take me a year. I'm going to finish it by May 4th. That's what I've decided. So anyway, I've got to be done for the night. I have work in the morning. It's late, so good night. I wanted to quickly update you because it is a couple of days later. I did finish my winter paragraph. I think instead of reading it, I'm just gonna snapshot it on the screen. My eyes are very tired from all of I have a lot of screen time. We all have too much screen time. So that is done. And what I have done recently, I have these chapter summaries for 19 and 20, along with these little colored post-it notes of pink things I need to add and green things I need to remove. Even though these are supposed to be like draft 2 edits. Things I should save for draft 2 editing, I just go ahead and do if it feels timely and right. I have rewritten part of 19, 20, and now have also finished 21, which feels pretty good because I've kind of been stuck at 20 for a while. This new kind of like color-coded outline has currently a total of like 34, 35 chapters. But obviously that will change as I draft. So anyway, I just wanted to pop on and let you know I finished my pretty paragraph. I hope you enjoyed. I'm thinking I'm gonna have to stop soon because my eyes are getting tired. So that was my update. Hello friends, you have made it nearly to the end. I have one final thing that I want to do in this video before we close it out. I am at 79,384 words. So I would love, before these candles run out, to hit 80K. I have technically already hit 80K. And then I removed a very long info dumpy scene that was just like straight dialogue. It was like somebody's backstory. And I was like, this is like what they tell you not to do in every writing course. And it ended up just slowing the pace down so much. I have cut that. I'm basically gonna sit here until I hit it. So this chapter, I'm writing chapter 22, and we're in a scene where our main character is, the whole reason why she's at this school is to learn how to hone her skills, basically. And so she is out with a former professor, still was sort of like assigned to her as kind of like a mentor. And so they go out way deep into the forest, and they get to the cliff's edge, and there's actually a waterfall out there. And so I'm imagining this waterfall, this like grand waterfall. And so she's like sitting on a rock, like a moss covered rock, trying to meditate, essentially. I hope all of that made some kind of sense. I'm gonna get to writing now. Okay, friends, that is it from me for the night. I hit my 80,000 a little bit after the candle went out. That candle really held on. The little wick just refused to go out. So yes, I'm at 80,171 now, which is good. It feels good to actually officially be at 80,000 because I sort of artificially hit it before, but now we're actually there. So I'm gonna go through my, little thing where I save like the most updated version to always keep that updated. I'll have to print off a couple of chapters tomorrow because I always try to keep a hard copy. That's another little tip, always keep a hard copy. But yes, thank you for watching. And now it is time for me to go to bed, so I will see you guys in my next video. Bye guys.